Hello and a warm welcome back to the WenDirkCast with me, Jimbo, and my good friend Calvinator, and we'll be discussing the latest MFL updates, transfers, developments, and so much more as they come in each week. One important note before we get right into things: none of what we chat about is financial advice now. We say it all the time, but gotta say it: do your own scouting or hire a director of metaverse football. Episode 51. Officially the first episode of our season 2. How about that? 51 episodes. It's been kind of mental, right?
Yes. Yeah, now the new milestone ahead is 100, right? So that should
100.
be kind of the end of season 2. So we should say welcome to season 2, everyone.
Yeah.
We're going to change a couple of things slightly around based on the survey. Jimbo, I've seen you spamming the general
getting people to fill it out. Yeah,
with the survey we got quite some responses.
We got a good number of responses. Yeah,
good number. Also very useful feedback.
Yeah.
So based on that, throughout the episode, we'll probably introduce a couple of tiny things that we're going to change around. So stay tuned for that. And the main thing, so the name of this episode is Season 0.8 and 2. So Season 2 because based on the survey, we're going to change our Season 2, change some things around. It's Season 0.8 because it just started this week.
Yeah,
we're ready for it, and we're going to discuss what is different, what
our
can you expect,
things like that.
Yeah, our dates, are we going to change something? So that will be the main topic. And on Wednesday
stream time, baby.
Stream time,
the first pack drop of Season 0.8, and it wouldn't be a pack drop without the WenDirk back in action with our streams. And obviously last pack drop we unfortunately could not do a stream for it because we were both on holiday. Fortunately for all of you, we are back home, we are in our local areas, so we'll be able to stream for you. So Wednesday, an hour before the drop, we'll be there bringing the hype, bringing the games, no doubt MFL will let us dish out a few MFL points as well, so we can reward people for, a couple of exclamation mark raffles in the chat. We can get a few of them going and whatnot. So it feels like a long time since we did one because we missed the mid-season one, but I'm buzzing to get back on the streaming again.
Yes, it's stream o'clock again.
Yeah.
So probably some activities, a quiz. I reckon I have to do another little quiz. Quizzes are fun. So and there's definitely new content.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, the last time was almost 2 months ago, I think. So
yeah,
there's definitely enough content to make a quiz about. Yeah. So stay. Let's say we'll stay tuned for that. More info.
Yeah.
On what's happening. So let's kick off season 2 with our personal journeys. Although we are gonna rename it to Moment of the Week. So it's our moment. So it's still our personal journey, but then we focus more on one moment in our MFL careers this week that were particularly interesting. So Jimbo, what was your MFL moment of the week?
My moment of the week was someone actually accepted a contract offer for a player that I wanted. This week I've been sending out loads of contract offers and they're all getting rejected, or I never get a response. So.
And did you send a Discord message also?
No. I've not got to that point yet. When it gets maybe 2-3 days before the transfer window ends, I will start spamming messages out to people in Discord, per DMs after I've sent a request. But for the time being, I'm just sending a couple loose cannon requests for contracts out there. But I fully appreciate as well that the player pack drops have been replenished, and we've got a drop coming up soon. So people might be a bit hesitant to try and loan out players until they might get a really good player in a drop, or they might buy a player from the marketplace. So at the moment, my highlight of the week was a couple of users accepting my contract offers. That's a highlight.
Aren't you afraid? So I'm always afraid when I spam offers that maybe then 4 suddenly accept it, and I'm stuck with 4 CDMs. So with 20% rev share, and then you're like, okay, this is too much.
That is a worry. But what I do is I have a little bookmark tab where I'll then send a couple of contract offers, and the players I haven't done yet, I'll favorite their their player profiles, and then if I come back like 2 days later and they've not accepted it, I'll just cancel those contracts and do the next round, and I keep doing it round and round and round. But actually, one funny one before we get into your bit, I had a player for the Wyverns last season on a 4% contract. The guy, I can't remember his username, and if you're listening, you'll find this funny. He cancelled the contract for 4% for this season. I sent him a contract offer for 3.75%, and I've got him back. So I've got him back for a little bit cheaper this season.
A little discount.
So a little bit of discount.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with that. But he was a pivotal player for my team as well last season. So I'm glad I got him back and got him back cheaper.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm like a reverse Chelsea basically.
But I think nowadays I just start with a Discord message and approach people like, can I get this guy? Can I get this guy? If they agree, I send the offer, because it's just so...
That's much quicker. That's much
so
more
often you don't know what's going on. You don't know their situation. Some people they want to sell them, so they don't accept contracts for this guy. Sometimes they're waiting to fill their squad after the drop, right? So it's much better to have that info. But it's great you did it like out of the blue without any communication, and it got accepted. So you got your guy you wanted.
Yeah, it's only the last couple of days that I really spam people.
Like
I'm quite
the
calm
deadline
until then. Yeah,
drama starting.
Yeah.
Yeah, my moment of the week. Well, I don't know if I can say two, but definitely the store restocked. So I was very happy with that.
Yep.
And I had another good pull, like an 81. So it's always, I have like each season. So nowadays, let's say recently, it's been like around 50k MFL or 52, 54.
Yeah.
And so that's the season earnings, and that's exactly like a rare pack. Mm-hmm. So each season I can exactly get a rare pack. So I'm always like, one rare pack or 5 uncommon packs. What do you go for? So it's a bit of a gamble. What would you do?
RDG go uncommons.
5 uncommons, yeah.
Yeah, 5 uncommons, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bit more like a spread, and you can have a couple of 73, 74s.
Yeah.
But yeah, luckily I had an 81 left wing back, left back, 20-year-old. So very happy with that pull.
That's decent,
Good reinforcement for my squad. Another thing is that I didn't mention is that I have another Stone Club.
Yes, you got another club. That's a big moment for you.
And I've been like rebranding a couple of things, so that's been going on too. So now 8 clubs, but I really should stop. That should be my max, I think. Now I have like the whole tier, like Stone to Gold. So now it's, I think.
Whereabouts
it's
enough. Club? Which country?
Argentina. But that was also part of the reason why I agreed to it, because I've so many players from Argentina. And I had this club with full Argentinian, Uruguayan. Now I make this full Argentinian and the rest just Latin American.
That's
full Latin American. So I have now finally this one let's say from one nation. So if player chemistry with nations gets a bonus, I'm ready for that. It's Stone right now.
Yeah.
So that's good. So next time we'll keep doing moment of the week. Hopefully only one moment.
Yeah, one moment, not hearing.
One moment, not multiple moments, but we can talk a bit more. Okay, dev updates. So based on the survey, let's do it also a bit shorter, a bit more pithy. Like we don't have to read out everything. So the engine had another patch. So if you're interested, check that out. Like read the patch notes. Also later in this episode, we're going to talk about season 0.8 changes and go over some of these changes related to the engine. So also new formations have been, let's say, like initialized with the engine.
Yeah, they've been introduced. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's getting ready for the 2D visualization. And we're also going to talk about that. So more about that later. And the store has been restocked, so I could buy this rare player.
Yep.
And had this lucky pool. Cadence. How do you pronounce it again?
I'd say
British English.
I would say cadence.
Cadence.
I would say cadence.
Yeah, cadence. Yeah. So this update is still in progress, and on September the 4th, MFL will be down for a few hours. So plan some other activities. be ready. But
I
it's
guarantee at
going
least
smoothly.
5 people message saying, "Why is MFL down? Why is MFL down?" And that's going to be the reason. That'll be the reason.
So pin another message in the chat, I think.
Yep.
For that. The 2D visuals, 2D visualization, some good progress has been made, also including some layout adjustments so that on both mobile and on the PC you can see it properly. And finally, player progression. The UI is still in development for that, but they also started working to kind of display it well in a nice chart to also see the evolution of each player's stats. So that will be really cool to track that. I think there will be a lovely chart.
Yeah, we like a nice chart, and I know what the teams like when it comes to UI. So we'll be spoiled with some nice UI.
It will also be very useful, like if you have a young guy, and then maybe like did he already develop, or is there still a lot of potential left? Right. So maybe if it's a pretty flat line, if he has not been playing, not gathering a lot of XP.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, actually, maybe there's a lot of potential still in that dude if he's like 22, but from 18 to 22, he barely progressed. So I think it's also very useful to kind of guess, is there still some potential on...
yeah, exactly.
To get out of him. Okay, season updates. So, of course, there has been no competitive metaverse football, loads of friendlies. Have you been playing some friendlies? Or have you been challenged a lot?
I've been playing quite a few friendlies, yeah. And when we talk about season 0.8 in a few moments' time, I will tell you how that has been going. But can you guess by the sound of my voice what that might be? Good or bad? I'll let you decide.
Not a bit confused, I think.
Yeah, not going so well. not looking good, bruv.
Okay, so more about it later, maybe about testing and planning for 0.8. But yeah, no competitive metaverse football. But in the future, so probably in 2 weeks' time, when 2 weeks or 1 week. I think 2 weeks.
I don't know, mate.
I think 2 weeks. We'll talk later about the dates, but yeah, in 2 weeks we'll have a new, let's say, diamond ranking. The first diamond matches will have been played. So we're planning to do first a quick update, just the ranking, top scorers, and then maybe highlight one match of the week in Diamond, where we focus a bit more on or maybe even in the Cup, Titans Cup, where we focus a bit more on the two managers, their choices, their tactic formations. Let's do a little match of the week analysis in the season update to keep it a bit more interesting. Right, that's the plan.
Yep.
If you don't agree or have other suggestions, let us know. Survey is still open. Jimbo will keep spamming.
I'll keep spamming
with the survey. So
in the morning and at night, I'll spam it. So I make sure that you American folk, when you've just got back from work, you'll spam it, and then when I wake up in the morning, you European folk, you'll get some treatment as well.
Again, the survey.
Yeah.
Maybe in the stream we can attach some. Or like do a quiz question.
You cannot win anything unless you filled the survey out.
And then exclamation mark survey.
Exclamation mark survey.
Would be good. Yeah, so in 2 weeks you'll hear this. We'll test a new format for the season update. What will stay unchanged for now is the marketplace update. Not so many new managers. I also have a couple I put in there because I think I never shouted them out. And when I was on holiday, they were not mentioned. So new managers is Tony Du 13090, Z4 Stars, Atuneros de Castilla, Butts, and Momo San. Then active managers, bulk buying. I saw Scrub. I don't know if I can make a joke that he was scrubbing the floor. I don't know if that's, but he was definitely sweeping the floor because he's been buying so many comments for $1. Also, a couple more were listed, so Scrub got loads of them. Also, McFink, of course, was part of that action. I also saw James Dylan Bond, mysterious new user. Pietro Mistravalle Morganovic and Messi00. Rare players, Hugo D was very busy. He bought 3 rares around 210 USD. So for his agency, that's quite some investments. He's definitely getting ready for the season. Dio also spent 240 on an 80-year-old Basul. Had spent 350 on an 83 goalie. And Fragiogo got another nice Italian stallion for 225, 82 rated, and 19-year-old. So a great new Italian talent for his Italian agency. Legendary players, only Dio and later on Splash. But Dio got another Dutch guy, 85 rated for 600s. Club-wise, some changes. Lam Web3 got another Ice, you probably saw on Twitter too. And Alexis, then Big Wilbert, Dr. Petit, Pietro, Crazy Cole, Jack Daniels, Alexis, Gaos, Dappa, Darkside, and Brandon all got a new Stone Club. So there's been, I think the Stone Club market, the Stone prices have been dropping a little bit and people have been buying them up.
Yeah.
Then Andrea Ragnar, he's back and he got a nice Iron team. And then the highest club transfers were both in bronze. SY got Valencia bronze for 150 and Rinuccio Genova bronze for 160. So also bronze. I think that floor is also going a little bit down. Jimbo, Trade and Splash. People actually say we have to do Splash together. I don't know if you want to try that or we need more.
I think let's try it, mate. We've not done any practice. When we get to Splash of the Week,
we're going to try it.
We'll do it together and we'll try it. And we won't really know what it sounds like until I listen back to it and edit it. And by that point, it could be absolutely horrendous. But
and then you can also remove my voice from it. So
or I'll just keep your voice in it. You know,
only me. Okay.
Only. So before we get into Splash of the Week, Trade of the Week, we haven't done a couple of big trades for a while, and suddenly, all of a sudden, a massive trade happened on what day would that been? Tuesday, the 12th of August. I think it's the Tuesday, I'm not sure, but the 12th of August regardless, between Profound Soda and Eric. So Eric grabbed himself a 94 rated Orlando Turto, I'll just call him Turto, Brazilian centre forward, isn't he? He's the young Brazilian centre forward.
He play as a striker, luckily.
Yeah.
So he's played there.
Otherwise, has he got the highest shooting in the game?
Well, he definitely has combined, I think, the best attacking stats.
Yeah.
I think as a striker, like both the passing, dribbling, shooting, pace. I think it's all 92, 93. So very good guy.
Just a good player.
Yes.
And then Eric also got 93 rated Jeremy Clare, who I had the privilege of managing for all but 3 games in the Euros. But that was a one-way trade until, a little bit earlier, there was a common player sold for $5,400. Hey, Conception Ricardo, 57 rated, $5,400, and that was between the two of them. So we knew where that was. We knew where that was going.
Yeah. So technically, he is the most expensive metaverse player ever. Technically.
Yeah, and that will skew all of the data. That will skew Ali's MFL player info when you look at, let me have a look how much my 57 rated CDM is from Paraguay, 20 years old. Oh, it says he's at least $500, at least $5,000. So, bit of a skewer, but a big trade nonetheless between those two, and another season it looks of Eric bolstering his squad, his Londinium. So we had Big Will do it last season a lot, should I say. Last season with his Let's Go Tango, and that proved very strong for him. So, very beneficial for him. And now we've got Eric doing the same. So a lot of other big clubs in Diamond.
Diamond is getting very competitive.
Yeah, that's
even more than ever, I think. Also with Scrub there being super ambitious. Maybe later on also we're going to do some predictions. But so just so you know, Eric has some amazing reinforcements coming.
Yeah. Right, here's our time to shine, mate. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and we're going to go Splash of the Week. And the week has to let it drag out a bit.
Yeah.
Right, no practice. For everyone listening, we have not practiced this duet. It's been requested through your little feedback in the survey. So we are going to give Splash of the Week duet for the first time. It could be the first and last time. So it's been an honour. Right, let me get my lungs full. Nice deep breath. We need to be prepared for this. Right. No practice. Just 3, 2, 1. We hit it. You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Splash of the Week. I started way too high there. But
that's gonna sound. You went really high, and I naturally matched you. I tried to match you, but I was like, I can't. I don't want to go that high. So
okay, we'll keep working on that. Work in progress.
We've work in progress. Yeah, we've got a legitimate splash of the week, and we've got a non-legitimate splash of the week. Well, if anything, the 5,400 was the actual splash of the week, because that was the biggest sale done in the week. However, Ronan, Tingers, Pingers had a little bit of a transaction with each other. Ronan purchased a 22 rated left back, 22 rated, an 87 rated 22-year-old left back from Colombia by the name of Noboto Dorado for $635. That was a legitimate splash of the week. On the other hand, we had another. It's not even a splash of the week, really. It's a common player going for $650. And before you go, what is going on? 5,400, $650. The 5,400 is obviously a trade. And there have been some big old common prices, $200, $650. Many of it is either just trades or the Ballers DAO were doing like another funding round. So they were selling more tokens for $100 each or so. And that's why there was a couple of common players being sold for about $200. And everyone's going, oh, I had to list my common player now for $200 and see if it gets bought up by someone. No chance. So
yeah, I think Ali and Alexis, they really have to remove a couple of kind of go through the database, maybe remove those guys because it's really messing up the floor. I
imagine it's quite easy. You can be like, any common player price sold, was it greater than, equal to, or greater than 100? Yes, remove. Like if it's over 100,
that would make sense. Yeah, good tip. If they're listening, I think they probably know already, right?
Yeah, they've probably already done it. They probably saw that and went, yeah, we've got to do something.
We can call this Dirksplaining. Also a good hashtag for later.
Dirksplaining. Yeah. So Noboto Dorado, he's our official splash of the week. So congrats to Ronan, little Tingers Pingers. I don't know if he's a bit big or small as Tingers Pingers, but that was the splash of the week.
Splash of the week, yes. So now we're also getting rid. We're changing some things around. So how Dirk? Well, for one season we tracked this guy. I think we might sometimes mention him again in the season update when he's playing for Bicione Milano. He's still gonna play there, I think. Well, he will play somewhere in the Diamond League, so we're still gonna mention him sometimes, but not as regular as before. So how Dirk is out of the window, and we're gonna change it for IRL MFL. So some IRL football moment that was maybe interesting or a match, and we try to connect it a little bit to MFL, or will we see it ever in MFL, or is relevant for MFL. So just some IRL moment that we liked or was interesting. Yeah, so I'll kick this off. My IRL MFL moment is the game Ajax Panathinaikos, which was a qualification match for the Europa League. So Ajax won 1-0 in Athens. Then Ajax had a crazy amount of chances. They thought they had it in the back. Just before the end of the match, Panathinaikos scored 1-0. So then on aggregate, it was 1-1. In extra time, nothing happened, so they went to a penalty shootout. So normally penalty shootouts are also MFL right now. So you take 5. Each team takes 5. Usually someone misses, couple miss, and it stops after 5 penalties. Well, this went on for 28 minutes and 34 penalties were taken. Also, both goalies had to take a penalty. Also, both goalies scored. I watched the whole thing. I think on the Twitter of Ajax, you can watch the whole thing there. If you
I watched the end of it.
If you're bored, it's really entertaining to watch. Also because Brobby, a Dutch talent, he was. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but very disappointing.
Yeah, I saw some clips of his previous penalties, and he's awful. Like his record is awful at penalties.
Exactly, it was atrocious, but. So I was wondering, IRL MFL, so this was a crazy penalty shootout. Like, will we ever see such a long penalty shootout in MFL? I don't know what the current record is, but 34 is insane.
Yeah.
Will we ever see that? I'm curious. Maybe let us know if you ever had a super long shootout. I think I only had ones that ended after 5. But let's see what the record will be.
Well, maybe, Yax, we know you're going to be listening. If not, we'll ask you anyway. Can you or someone in the team find out what the current longest penalty shootout is in MFL? What's been the longest shootout so far in MFL? And then we know we've got a target to beat, or we'll have to just keep watching all the cup games to find out what the longest one is going to be. Calver, have you had a penalty shootout before in MFL?
Yeah, I did a couple times in the cup, but I think it's always 5. But in general, it would be cool to have like kind of Opta MFL. I said it before, like an Opta Dirk, and then get some data like this game was the longest shootout, or it scored most goals in the season, or those kind of keeping track of data.
Yeah.
So what about you? Well, you want to talk about FPL, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about FPL. So we brought it back for a 3rd season. This is sort of led by, or I guess community led by myself and the Bosco company, fellow captain. And as always, it's very kindly been sponsored by MFL. So you can win $1 MFL for taking part. But you don't have to just be the best come the end of the season. There are weekly and monthly prizes as well. So you can just essentially be good for a week, get 800, or I think it's 800 MFL, which is equivalent, $1 or so. But if you do that 36 times in a row, well, hey, you're balling. So if you've not joined the FPL, go into the Discord. There is a sort of a topic that says play and win, and underneath there is FPL, and you can go sign up to the league. Let us know. I always set reminders out for everything like that, but I'm glad that the Premier League's football is back. Liverpool beat Ipswich. Happy days. But so, Norwich were ass. So I've not really got anything from my side to mention in IRL because nothing to shout about right now for me in football.
But maybe for the fantasy Premier League, people can do transfers now, right? Maybe they had kind of a rough start, or they don't know.
Yeah.
Can you give them, let's say, 1 or 2 players that are pretty cheap relatively? Ooh. That might be sneaky, like kind of some sneaky good players.
See,
like
there was a couple,
alpha,
some alpha on here.
FPL alpha, yeah.
Some FPL alpha. Well, my captain for this week, I had Diogo Jota in, and I think he's going to be quite a nice player. He's 7.5 million, which isn't massive. But I think in the previous seasons, he's been a striker, and now he's been pushed down to a midfielder. So his points for goals is now 1 extra. It's now 5 instead of 4. And it looks like he's going to be the front runner, the striker for Liverpool this season. Unless Núñez goes in some crazy run. But let's be real now, Núñez is awful.
Yeah, I think Slot likes him way more than Núñez or Gakpo as a 9. Yeah. So that would be that's a great pick if he is a midfielder in FPL. Then
I think Jota will do quite well. If Liverpool do well, Jota does well. I mean, he got a goal, should have scored a second one, or should have scored 2. But it's hard this season because Haaland's so much money. He's 15 million, which makes it you can't just pick Haaland and Salah and then just do the rest with who are average. You have to do Haaland and Salah and then just pick loads of really cheap players, and it's quite hard to do that. We'll pick a decent team as well. That you actually have to make a couple of decisions now. It's not just pick, play, and leave it a bit sort of thing. But I'm liking I'm liking Jota. Maybe Rodgers for Villa. But there was Oscar Bob. This last one was Oscar Bob for Man City, who was probably going to start, but then he got injured, and he looked like he could be a really cheap player and start the season. So if you can get 4 or 5 players, if you can get one cheap player who plays for 4 or 5 games early doors, that can really help, especially if he's a good player as well. So,
okay, so good tips. So maybe next time you can come. Let's see if one of those players will shout out to one of those.
Maybe
players.
I have to shout out. Yeah, I have to predict a player for the upcoming game week, and then I'll tell you how he did. Did he do? Did he blank or did he
perform?
Yeah.
Good one. Yes, so now normally if we had a guest, we would do the community top 3. So we're gonna get rid of all the chocolate and the vegetables, and it's time for a fresh start to season 2. And we want to do a little poll on Twitter, and we kind of had 4 main suggestions in our survey. So the first is TV shows, second beers, third video games, and the fourth one is IRL players. So, and let's say the best player, top 3. So the best TV shows, the best beers, best video games, best players of all time. So we'll do a little survey. Do you have a little preference, or is that kind of?
I think
is that how do you say that? Kind of promoting one, and then people follow you.
Oh, yeah,
influencing
I know what
the
you mean.
vote.
Yeah. I guess you could say not really conflict of interest.
Conflict
you know
of
you could say I could say collusion. No, I don't really.
A little bias.
Yeah, I think I personally would find IRL players really interesting, or beers. Well, no, I don't think beers would be good. I think something that can be quite controversial at times, but then again, beers can be. We saw that the other month. People get very, very hyped up about their beers, and if people don't like them or not. I think IRL players would be a good one. But yeah, we'll put these 4 on Twitter. You can then vote. Hopefully we'll get quite a few votes, and whichever one comes up on top, we will do as our community top 3. However, we are going to introduce some rules into this community top 3. So previously, you could just swap out one and put whatever you wanted in, but if someone took one out, and then next week someone else came on, they could just put it straight back. So what we're going to do is, one of the rules is going to be, once a beer, once a video game, once a TV show, or once an IRL player gets said, if it gets removed, that suggestion can never be introduced back into the community top 3 again. So if someone says Messi's the best IRL player, someone removes Messi no longer sits in the top 3 list. He cannot make a return.
Yes.
So you've got to be careful with your picks, folks. You've got to be careful with your picks.
Yeah, it's more. It will be more interesting, definitely. So,
Yeah.
like, will someone remove Messi for some bit more obscure superstar or older one?
Yeah.
So will be cool. Will be fun. We'll add a little edge to it. I think that's making things more interesting. So yeah, please vote for that later this week on Twitter on our poll.
Yeah.
So time for the main segment. The main topic this week is season 0.8. So it just started. When it started on the 13th, right? Yes. So on the 13th of August, Wednesday, transfer window opened, and all the contracts were kind of renewed, or they ended. So I think it would be good first to maybe go over some dates and then maybe talk a bit about it, or have some more, let's say, advice for people. So the most important thing is that you register. So if you have a club, you need to register, of course, for the leagues and the cups. That is on August the 20th. And then 21st, so Wednesday is the pack drop, and of course the WenDirk live stream. So make sure you tune in. And then 1 week after that live stream, the leagues will start, and the day after, the transfer window is closed. So when you listen to this, you have about 9 days left to get your teams ready for the league start. How do you feel about it? League starting again? Is it like a long time, right? Kind of like a long time since.
My one fear is that because we've been so casual about it the last couple of weeks and not much has gone on, that I've not really kicked into gear that the season's going to be, or the leagues will be starting again soon. So I think maybe some people, a bit like myself, had a nice little break. We've had a bit longer off because of other things happening, and MFL team having a well-deserved break, well-deserved week off on holiday. And now suddenly we're like, oh crap, we've got games soon. We've got to get prepared. Maybe everyone's a bit too relaxed now. Got to get back into that mindset, back into that motion again. But ultimately, I'm just super excited to be able to watch my teams lose every game.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bit of a I'm not excited for that. But I agree with you that it's like this. On the one side, it was like a bit this dull, like a bit less activity. But that, I think, will make that start even more exciting, more energized. Like with IRL football, like Premier League starting again, people get like more hyped because 2 months we had the European Championship and 2 months no club 3 months even, right? No clubs playing against each other.
Yeah.
And then you start again, so then you're way more hyped, you're way more into it, you're checking it out again. So I think that will be the same case now. People will wake up from their summer sleep, not their winter sleep, and I think that excitement will really grow way more. So I think everywhere we saw a little bit, also the market, like prices a little bit declining. I think excitement a little bit, but then boom, we're back. And it will be like more than ever that energy again. So
to build up energy, build up the hype for the start of the season again. Because you're right, I think because we had a little bit of a longer break, things have dulled down a bit. You can even the weekend in Discord is pretty quiet sometimes in general. But then second it hits weekday, when everyone's working, or should be working, it gets really, really busy again.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll probably see this happening, and of course, with our live stream, we're gonna hype it up.
Yeah,
a lot. So I said league start in 9 days, August 28th. Then transfer window closed the day after. So that is, and then after that they can make the tiers for the cups. So I think people were complaining before that they were making those tiers first. Then the transfer window was still open. You could send all your best players practically to your Stone team, and then you would have this crazy OP Stone team in let's say the Aspirants Cup, a very team with all rares because of the transfer window. So this will be not possible anymore now, which is great. So after that, the tiers will be made and the cups will also start. Then 11th of September, there is a drop then. And also the mid-season transfer window. How much did you actually use it last time, the transfer window mid-season? Would you use it more this time? Will you use it more, or did you?
Well, I thought I was going to use it last time. I don't think I touched it last season. But I think I know what I lie. I brought in 2 players because I got them both in packs, I think. And I think during the last season's mid-transfer window was when they released the Euro
yes,
rewards.
MFL, Euro MFL.
So I remember I transferred a left wing back from a pack to my Stone club, and I also transferred another left back to my Stone club who I got from the redeeming one of the uncommon player packs as well. So I did use it, but I didn't really use it from like purchasing on the marketplace like you probably would imagine a mid-season transfer window is all about. I didn't use it in that sense.
Yeah, so now it also coincides with this drop, so you could buy a pack and then get some upgrades for your teams. I did the same, so I spent my MFL from the Euros in the store.
Yeah.
To get some upgrades, and I think apart from that, I didn't do much. Like you could do, 4 iron teams. Maybe one is in the championship race for the title race. The others aren't. You could technically change some players, some of your better strikers to that team to make it a bit stronger to make sure you get a title. I might be tempted to do that. I'm honest. I don't know if that's fair with like bigger agencies.
It's a bit in the back of my head. Yeah. Is it? It's probably it's allowed to do it, but remember ages ago we did an MFL etiquette episode.
Yes, it feels a bit wrong.
Like, does it feel right doing it? And especially if you then go and win the league by loads, or maybe you win the league because that player you brought in scored the winning goal, but he otherwise would have been on your other club, which he would have just done nothing on, but you saw what was happening. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. It's a bit odd. But then you could argue, what's the difference between you actually, say, buying that player and then doing it? But if it's a shifting round internally between your own clubs, I think that's a little bit sus. That's a little bit sus.
Yeah. I know. It's not proper, I would say. It's a bit like the City group. Like they think, let's boost some title race, send some of our better City group players to, let's say, the Belgium. They have like this Lommel in the Belgian second tier, and they sent a couple guys there to secure the promotion. Yeah, it feels wrong. But you could do it. Yeah,
there's nothing illegal.
There's nothing legal. Yeah, you can just end their contract, send them there. This might also be very interesting for promotion relegation, right? Maybe your goal team is mid-table. They cannot really relegate anymore. but your iron team is struggling and you need to save their ass, let's say. So then you send your best striker there. Like, you could do it. It's maybe a good strategy.
But actually, think ahead to the future, player progression. No, that's not a good thing to do, because they'll get less progression and they'll be impacted by it. So technically, there's an incentive not to do it there.
You also lose a lot of value if your club relegates, and maybe I think the lower tiers divisions are going to be hell, I think, for promotion. Like one big puddle. So then if you go from iron to stone and you're stuck there for a couple of seasons, maybe that one striker saving them, that quality striker and midfielder that saved them from relegation, that could be maybe, in terms of like investment, saving MFL, might be worth it.
Yeah,
sacrificing a bit of XP for MFL.
Figure out the opportunity costs and what's the biggest benefit.
Yes. Well, good discussion to have. Like, is this one proper? Is it smart? And in the future, with promotion relegation, is it a smart strategy? And will we still have those transfer windows then? I think we will.
We still will, yeah.
We still will, yeah. So after that mid-season transfer window and the drop, the last match day is end of September, the 25th. And then, Q4 is already approaching, so we're very curious what will happen
what will happen in Q4, eh?
October, November, December. Yeah, there should be a certain season 1, but that's for other episodes. Yeah, so also season 0.8 to have a new engine. In the dev updates, I said, we could dive a little bit more into detail. The question is, how different is it really? So you were testing things. So did you notice any difference?
Yeah, I've been testing it a bit, and I've not been doing so well, but I'm still torn whether it's because of the engine, because my opponent has got stronger, or because I've also got slightly weaker. For example, I had a 74 rated goalkeeper for the whole of season 0.8, and he wasn't mine. He was fancy gaffers, and now I don't have that 74 rated goalkeeper. I'm trying to get a 73, 74 rated goalkeeper back. Goes back to my point earlier. Everyone just ignores
no one accepts it.
Everyone ignores my requests for a goalkeeper. So, and I feel like that 5 overall difference in goalkeeper probably makes quite a big impact in my team. I feel like it does anyway. So for some games, I have no idea why I'm doing what feels like quite a bit worse. But then some other games, I feel like I'm doing how I thought I would. But I have got slightly weaker by maybe a couple overall. So maybe about 6, 7 overall lower than I was during my peak of season 0.7.
But tactics-wise, it's the same.
My tactics-wise, it's the same, yeah. What I want to do this season again is... I don't like changing things anyway, but I'm going to keep the same tactics. I'm going to run the same tactics, because then in my head I can understand, is it the engine that's mainly changed and causing this, or is it my tactics or that sort of piece? I don't want particularly try and change it much. I like how I run my teams. I don't want to change it unless I feel like I have to. If it's the non-meta way, or if it really puts my team at disadvantage, how I play my football, then I will swap. But I want to try and be really disciplined and also stubborn at the same time.
Stick to your it's also what you really believe in, like the philosophy, the play style, formation you really believe in.
It came second and won the cup last year. So should I change that? No, probably not, right? I shouldn't be changing that if it did well last season. So
stick to it. So so what the engine, like, what has really changed? I have to admit, I didn't really read those patch notes. Did you? Or
I did read them when they got released, and I've not read them since.
There have been like 2 patches at least, I think. But there seems to be it seems to be all more realistic and more also like that. What you will see in a 2D visualization, that it's really like real football. Let's say, not like it looks like football, and it makes sense with the team instructions, with the formations, what they're doing. So yeah, it also says enhanced team instructions for more realistic football logic. So and also revised possession calculation, right? There was a big thing that with possession, it sometimes you had like 51%, but still you beat them 10-0. That seems odd. If you score so many goals, you should have the ball way more. So hopefully it will get a bit more realistic, a bit more logic, and that you can then see that on the pitch with 2D coming up. That would be
I just want to touch on some a couple of the patch notes. I'm just reading them again now. I just want to highlight a couple of bullet points that maybe might be worth discussing. So this was on the engine update. So one of them says defensive play has been strengthened with improved marking to prevent attackers from easily receiving the ball unchallenged. So it looks like, we'll call it defense has got a buff in some sense, defense being more important. And then one's interesting here. It says to address issues, especially in scenarios with significant overall differences, the behaviour of teams with a lead has been modified to adopt a more conservative approach with limited risk-taking. This adjustment is expected to lower the upset ratio and help reduce variance. So, and that middle line, or the first sentence there, the behaviour of teams with a lead to adopt a more conservative approach, is almost that if you score first, you have a better chance of winning sort of part in football, isn't it?
Well, is it like, I don't know, in real life, I hate, I really hate this. When the team scores 1-0, you saw it in the Euro sometime. Like a team went ahead 1-0, and then they start parking the bus. Actually, that's what England did. Sometimes they scored 1-0. I don't know which match it was, and then they just fell back and they just let, I don't know, Denmark or whatever make like they just were parking the bus almost. I want to keep attacking then, and like Cruyff's philosophy is like, if you have the ball, the other team cannot score, right? So if you just keep possession, keep the ball
unless
around,
you score an own goal.
True, that can happen.
But you don't do that when you've got
no. But yeah, if you have the ball, you keep passing the ball around like almost on the half of the opponent. I want my teams to keep doing that. I don't want them to then become super defensive when they have a 1-0 lead. So it can, of course, if you 3-4-0, then maybe you're like, okay, we already won. We don't have to keep pressing that much. So maybe the crazy scores are gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Well, maybe for like I can imagine it for really weaker sides when they get 1-0 and then maybe they try to drag it over the line by parking the bus. Yeah. That could be realistic or football logic.
Yeah.
And but let's see what it does.
And then another one I looked at, which this one's quite interesting, especially with the introduction of 4-2-4 as a formation now. So the 4 attackers being left wing, right wing, and 2 strikers. Player behaviour with pre-game tactics have been reworked to better align with real football logic, with a particular emphasis on the offensive width tactic. Now, this might be a reason why I'm being absolutely smashed at the moment, because last season I ran the tightest block you could possibly do. And I said my logic behind it was that many people do not like putting their offensive width on the maximum because they're scared it might leave them, they're just, people don't like having scales on the extreme. So my thought process was, if people don't put it on the extreme, more times than not, having a compact defense will benefit me. But if I've got a fully compact block now, or setup, and it seems like, in my mind, that sounds like they've buffed the offensive width tactic. If I'm playing 4-2-4, any formation with wingers, and they've got width on possibly the highest, I could be getting absolutely destroyed because of that. So I'll have to do some testing. I'll have to change my defensive block against who I assume will have offensive width onto its widest and see what that looks like. But that could be a reason why I'm not seeing the same results, because width could be more beneficial this season, perhaps, or a bit stronger than it has been in previous seasons.
With these things, it's always like, it's also like a natural process. If you put wide attackers, your defensive block should also spread out a bit, right?
Yeah.
They should, like in a normal game, well, this is what teams want. or also how I would play, is that you at least have wingers that stay wide.
Yeah.
So that they direct defenders there, which creates spaces in the middle for strikers to have more space to shoot or head or make a dribble.
Yeah.
That's what you want, right? But then if you select this block, defensive block, will they really stay at that block and then let those wingers just pump in some crosses? Or what is that behavior going to be?
We want to actually understand the behavior of the players and the 2D visual, essentially. We want to understand what is the behavior. Is it really strict how the players follow that instruction, or can they have a bit of a mind of their own and maybe deviate
hopefully
slightly? Yeah.
Like, it would be really weird as a left back and you say tight block, and then this other guy has offensive width and he's not gonna attack him at all at the corner, the corner flag. He's just gonna whatever, stay there, like not mark him. So curious to see how that will be. Another patch note thing.
I think that they were the ones I wanted to
highlight.
There was some differences to how XG and things like that were calculated. So it better mirrors the real world calculations rather than how MFL
well, that's all good.
But yeah, that's all good.
Well, you already mentioned 4-2-4, right? That's one of the 5 new formations. So we have 4-1-4-1, 4-2-4, 4-1-3-2, 4-3-3 attacking, and 3-5-2-B. So which one will you use, a new one, or which one would you use, like, out of those 5?
I really want to try and go with 4-2-4, but I can't run it with either of my teams. I'm too far into my squad to change. I don't have wingers to bring in, basically, to push into them. I could if I put them in like second or third positions, but I don't particularly want to do that because the drawback is that I lose them in their best positions where they're really good in. I might try the 3-5-2-B. That's the one I've been trying a bit at the moment. I quite like 3-5-2-B. Having the cam behind the strikers I really like. In most of my formations, I like having an attacking midfielder just sat behind the strikers. So if I can do that with a 3 at the back as well, I'm going to try that out for a bit. So I used to rotate between 4-2-3-1 and 3-5-2 last season. It might be 4-2-3-1 and 3-5-2-B this season. But
interesting.
I kind of refuse to do 4-2-4. I think it's such a fraudulent formation, and I think it's going to work really well this season. That's my prediction. I think it will just work well. I remember you'd play as Real Madrid on FIFA, and you'd just whack 4-2-4, and you'd put Ronaldo, Benzema, like Ozil and Gareth Bale or something like that. Not Ozil, someone else. You just put those 4 as your front 4, and you just absolutely destroy everyone. I'm hoping it's not like that. I hope it's not like that.
But it's more a formation you would use, like when you're behind, right? You throw in an extra striker. So it's it for me it also feels odd to use that as a starting formation.
A starting formation. It's weird. Not weird. It's not weird. It doesn't seem right.
You don't never see that almost in football. I would say.
Yeah,
4-2-4.
You don't see someone line up with 4-2-4. You may see, Real Madrid might play it, or Liverpool or City might play it, but it won't be their kickoff formation. It will just be what they eventually turn into. But then you could argue that's what they play. So
it might happen. Like now, before recording, we talked a bit about Madrid's Mallorca with those 4, like Bellingham. He also comes into the box as kind of a second striker. So then you also have this 4-2-4 kind of. But officially he plays as a midfielder. So it's more like a 4-3-3.
I do want to see how...
to always have them there as like also defensively, that is weird.
Yeah. I am interested when we get the 2D visual, which hopefully might be the middle of this season. We haven't heard much more information on that yet, with regards to any announcement of when it will be released. But I really want to see the 4-2-4 in its defensive sort of ability. I want to see
what happens
what it looks like then, because you've got 4 ridiculously offensive players there, they're not wide midfielders. They're wingers, so they will just sit up there. Especially if I want to know how I can counter and destroy that formation, because that will be. I have a agenda for 4-2-4 as a formation, so I want to try and counter it as much as I can.
It's definitely like the most daring one. So it will be wild, I think, too. So then there should be like a good tactic to counter them, because it's so extreme. But I like 3-5-2. Like out of those 5. I think 3-5-2 is what modern coaches, they use it so much nowadays.
Yeah.
You saw it on the Euros also. Loads of teams play like that, right? With those 2 wide kind of wing backs, wide midfielders, 2 strikers, a cam, 2 defensive midfielders. So it's a great formation. It's really nice. Personally, just also based on the players I have, I might do 4-1-3-2 with some teams. So I really like to have this one CDM there with 3 more dynamic midfielders that can also go wide a little bit or make some runs. So there's 4, so you have like a CDM, a CM, and a left mid, a right mid, and 2 strikers. But then really that CDM behind those 3 other guys. So I probably will use this one myself. And the 3-5-2 looks great, but I don't have the players for that.
Yeah.
4-3-3 attacking I also really like with that dedicated cam. That's also a great formation. So I think it's great additions. Those I can really work with that.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to the new formations. I'll be looking forward to trying to figure out how to beat some formations. Because last year I sort of set and forget my squads, and they played well. And I don't think I'm going to be doing well. No, I'll stick my guns. I won't change much. I'm not one for changing things. So I feel like what always happens is you try and counter someone, and they try and counter you, and it ends up just being like an absolute mess of a game. And neither of you understand what you've just done and how you've won that game. Because if you change something, you've gone against what you usually do. I've changed something, but what I've changed isn't actually what I prepared for. You've prepared for something, and then it ends up being different, and then you're like, oh, did I just do well, or did my other manager just change his tactic? And anyway, it just sometimes it's a bit of a mess. So I just keep the same thing. The one variable I can control is my tactics and my formations. I'll keep that the same, and therefore I know what's the same, and I can analyze what's else. Yeah,
that's also my testing strategy. Now, right now you have so many formations also. It's like almost impossible to get a good grip on how does my team perform against other formations. That's almost impossible to test, or you have to be testing the whole day.
Yeah.
I would also focus on your own formation, your own tactics. And
yeah,
I would say that's better to do. But really cool. I'm really glad they have these new formations, and I'll definitely use with some clubs, some of them, especially the 4-1-3-2 that we're going to use. Yeah, but we already touched upon 2D and new UI, so it should be here sometime September, I think. Any prediction? 2D,
yeah,
we've talked about it before.
Yax gave some info, but maybe midway through season 0.8. So
maybe second half, right? With a drop.
Second half, yeah. I imagine we'll have to get at least like 2-3 weeks notice. I don't know. I don't know. We know this. We could. They could just say, "Oh, it's already up now." You know.
Yeah, it feels like it's like final stages with UIs but we'll. Yeah, it should be here coming soon. But it will be really good. Yeah, we just touched upon like how amazing it would already be to just see what, like, if I use this formation, what actually happens on the pitch. That already is super valuable.
And then we can start doing little Monday night footballs where you got Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, and they start drawing circles around this player and go, well, if you look at that formation and how it should have gone down there, because he's got his offensive width on the maximum. You see that player, he can dart in there, and you can sort
based
of
on the survey. Yeah, based on the survey, this is what people want us to do also. So when we have live stream or
more tactical
another WenDirk Cup, that we really see what's going on.
Yeah,
and maybe with our commentary, right, and analysis, that it can be better. So channel your inner Carragher and then Neville.
Yeah, I would probably rather.
I don't know who's Carragher, who's Neville. I don't know. Like,
well,
people can speculate about it.
Yeah, people can speculate. Who's Carragher? Who's
Micah Richards?
More about the Benjamins. I could do Micah Richards. I could do a Richards. Not his accent, but I can just do his personality. And
his
how
energy is great. I like that.
Yeah, I do love his energy like that.
Yes. Okay, I see we're approaching an hour. Also, according to the survey, some people think it might be too long sometimes. Hard to catch up, definitely.
It's length of podcasts are tough because some people really enjoy long ones. Some people like shorter, snappy ones. So I feel like if we can get a nice balance, a mix of the two, some that are around an hour, maybe a little bit less, some that maybe just over an hour, and then that
I think around an hour is a good.
Yeah, that's around an hour.
Yeah, I just want to end this season 0.8 conversation with a quick round of predictions, expectations. Look in our crystal ball and see.
Ortia wins Diamond.
Well, let's start with that. Diamond League predictions.
No.
I'm very happy you didn't get angry about my joke. Don't mention it to him. But seriously, what would you say? Like, a lot of transfers happened.
A lot of transfers happening. It's so tough. I don't think Meta wins it again. Not again. They didn't win it last season.
Tango.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Sorry, I was meant to say I don't think Meta Mercenaries wins it this season. I don't think they do. So we can rule them out, which sounds quite crazy. I'm saying that usually it's like, well, Meta Mercenaries will win this season, and now we're saying I think they've lost quite a few players, but they've probably gained some. You know, Ronan's always got strength in that squad. Eric's made quite a few decent signings with Turto and Jeremy Clare, assuming they're going to go to Londinium.
Yeah,
Big Wilbert's there.
And
those two.
Scrub, the new manager, Bistiano Milano.
You got him as well.
Milano,
you might see you come into it as well. You might see the 11th manager.
I think he's ready. He should be able to register with at least 11 legendaries.
Well, we'll be able to confirm that when we see the registers, and if suddenly we see 11 managers, we can start getting a bit hyped then. But
yeah, it's hard. So say one team. Quick shout.
One team. Let's go Londinium. I'll back Eric for this season.
Good one, yeah.
But I think Joe B could be a little bit of a dark horse. I think.
We forgot about Joe B. Yeah, he also got great guys.
I think he had a good cup run. He won the cup, didn't he? I think he could.
So you're changing to Joe B now?
No, I'm not changing to Joe B. I think it's Londinium still. But I think if anyone's going to disturb that top four, it's gonna be a Joe B. It's gonna be a Joe B.
I will say Bistiano Milano Scrub. I think he's also been really busy on a transfer market, getting great players, and he also took over a team with already good players.
That'd be a kick in the teeth for Dio, wouldn't it? Scrub takes
yes.
it immediately.
Well, he almost finished that draw, right? We talked about that draw.
Yeah.
Like, without that draw, he would have won it already. So, well, yeah, it will be kind of a gamble anyway, with so many teams being very competitive. So, but I think he's been very busy on the transfer market and ready for that. So,
yeah, let's
see. Then, we could do some price speculation, but
so we've just predicted the Diamond League.
Yes.
Just a really quick one. Do you think, obviously, you'll want to win silverware this season? So will I. You have 8 clubs now, and I still have my 2. I would like to win one more piece of silverware, so that in my head that's 4 competitions, 2 cups and 2 leagues, so 4 tries, and I like to try and win at least one each season, from a club trophy point of view. Have you got a little figure in your head what you'd like to achieve? What's a successful year for Calva for this season?
Ooh, hard to say. Well, like 0.7 was really bad, but I still managed to get that rare player out of it. So at least that. I definitely want some silverware. One of those 8 teams, at least 1 league.
Surely.
I also kind of strengthened all of them, all the teams. Definitely, my Stone team is now also pretty decent with all those Argentinian guys. So my goal is at least 1 cup or league win.
1 cup.
Yeah, I'm going for that. It's high time.
Do we see assist makers or top assisters get a trophy this season? Do you reckon we ever do? Is that a thing? We can? We'll always. Was that the secret project to get a trophy for the assisters?
Yeah, well, there shouldn't be too many trophies. In real life, is there a trophy for that? No, there's just maybe MVP.
There is a trophy for that.
There's assist trophy.
Yeah, it's the golden boot is a golden boot, but the assist one I think is like a player passing the ball. I think I
would rather have like kind of player of the season in each division based on rating, highest overall rating.
I like that as well.
As well. Okay.
As well.
Yeah. You don't want to have, let's say, not price inflation as in prices, but prices to win. Let's say. I think too many cups or too many golden boots or too many things. But best player based on rating, that might be cool. Assists, why not? I mean, I would have won a lot of them, but
I would have won last year if it wasn't. Yeah. Maybe that's just because I'm moaning because I got top assist last year, but
so we're both going for silverware.
But we hit. I see we've got down about registrations here. We hit over 1,000 for season 0.7 for both league and the cup, I believe. I imagine we see the same again. I can't remember what the exact figure was.
Yes.
Maybe do we get 1,100 this time? I can't remember what the exact figure was. Last year.
Well, I hope to at least get the same numbers. I also feel like the amount of clubs is pretty stable, but it's a bit like less users owning that club. I hope that the ratio goes the other way.
I hope it does as well. Yeah, the ratio seems a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like some people are just getting crazy amounts of clubs. I'm maybe also part of that problem. But it's good to see just having more users with one club being part of that 1,000 club who registered. That's my hope. I feel like with there will be a good push coming with 2D player drops. What I said is kind of out of this doll. I also got a bit of creative energy back, a bit of new content, a bit more activity on Twitter. So I think we'll from now on out of the summer towards
we've all had a bit of time
the new
to
year.
recharge.
I think we'll have a nice push.
We've all had a bit of time to recharge, and maybe by New Year we when they say season 1 will be Q4, is that when it? Would you reckon that's when it starts in Q4? Yes, or do we think it's maybe when they announce that it's? So basically, would you be angry if it started on January the 1st as opposed to the last day of December?
And I also feel like it's just, I'm kind of a sucker for these things, but that you have 0.91, right? We need to have at least that.
We could still get...
And then maybe one beta, like one beta, and then boom, start.
We could still get season 0.9 and manage to start a season 1 before the end of this year as well, technically.
Yes.
So it could be that. But in my head... starting season 1 around Christmas time, maybe, especially if it starts near Christmas, could be a bit challenging. I think it's quite a lot going on then, maybe. But
true.
That's if it's Christmas and New Year, how much time?
I would say
going to be like away, or how much time do people spend? People spend Christmas with their family and friends and stuff, right? And MFL.
Well, I would be happy if it's just 0.9, then season 1 beta testing everything, and season 1 January 25. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, I hope it starts Q4 this year, or it starts Q4 this year. I think it will. I think they'll pull through with it. I think we'll be good. Something to look forward to. And like you said, a big push then, so we can see way more established clubs, users. All that sort of stuff, which is what we want.
That's what we want. Yes. Yeah. So hashtag, I think.
So, as always, to prove you have been listening to the WenDirkCast in this episode, to prove you've been listening to this episode, we're going to give you a hashtag. The hashtag is DirkSplaining. DirkSplaining. I guess a bit like mansplaining, when a man explains something. It's how Calvin and I just explain things, and we take about an arm and a leg a year and a bit to try and explain something which probably could be explained in about one sentence. So hashtag Dirksplaining. We haven't double checked if that hashtag, when you actually spell it out, spells any sexual words in it. So like SERP or not SERP had the word porno or porn in it, which we didn't. I don't think we quite found that quite funny, how it just had porn in the middle of the hashtag, which I think was probably on brand for the amount of rude words we were saying last episode.
You now also have to mark this episode for some 18 plus words.
Yeah, true. I did say the word crap earlier, which apparently some people liked, that we were a bit more expressive. You know, we could. So maybe
we can do that more if you mention the survey.
We could do it more, yeah. And maybe maybe if you have a rant to say, Calva, you can really use the expletives, and maybe you can swear in different language. I think that will really get people going.
Let's see.
Okay. He's not said no, folks. He's not said no.
I will say Polish has amazing swear words. They're so powerful.
There we go.
I could use them sometimes.
There we go. Yeah. So hashtag Dirksplaining. If you're not filled in the feedback form and listen to this, go do so. It'll probably be on both of our socials and the WenDirk social, and I'll be spamming it in Discord as well, so you just won't be able to get away from it. If you're around on Wednesday for the drop, we'll see you then. We'll be doing our usual live stream, hype, fun, sharing people's pack openings, all that great sort of stuff. But if not to worry. We'll see you this time next week for an episode of the WenDirkCast. Thank you for listening.